That's what minutes do max. Never take off too much.
Okay, hold on.
All right, good evening, everybody. I remind everybody to turn their cell phones off for the duration of the meeting. Welcome to the Hamlin Conservation Advisory Board. The exits are on either end of the building, and the AED, should we need it, is directly across from our door. Cheryl, you call a roll, please.
Janine Clark. Here. Clark Haney.
Here.
Steve Rutherford.
Here.
Carrie Whipple. Here. Louis Stevenson.
Here.
All right, next is the approval of the July 24th minutes. Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes?
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes.
All right, is there a
From July
second?
24th.
All right, it's been moved and seconded that we accept the minutes. Cheryl, can you call the roll, please?
Janine Clark.
Yes.
Clark Haney. Steve Rutherford.
Abstain?
Carrie Whipple.
Yes.
Louis Stevenson.
I'll say as well.
Okay, so carried. Next, we'll move right into our public forum and our meetings. And first up is Janine.
Okay, I'm still trying to turn my phone off. I'm sorry. I thought it was off, and when I hit it, it turned it back on.
Yeah,
Okay, now it's off.
all right.
Sorry about that. Okay, the planning board meeting for August 7th. I was not able to attend that meeting, but I do have the minutes, so I'll just read you some of the highlights from the minutes of that meeting. There was a public hearing for Thomas Calandrillo, 660 Walker Lake, Ontario Road. He was seeking a special use permit to operate a landscape maintenance business at his home on Walker Lake, Ontario Road. He's proposing to build a 36 foot by 40 foot pole barn to house the equipment required for his business. He's been before the planning board before. This is the RVL zoning district. The chairperson opened the public hearing. No one spoke. There were no negative comments from the board. So, an unlisted action under seeker was approved by the board, and the application for his special use permit to operate this landscape maintenance business was approved under the condition that it's inspected yearly for special use, and that no fertilizer or flammable items be stored, and no storage of topsoil or mulch. There was a second public hearing that night for Don Soames, 530 Morton Road. He was seeking preliminary and final single lot subdivision for lot 2 of the Heavenly Soames subdivision. This is in the RL zoning district. This particular subdivision, lot in the subdivision, it's just under an acre, and they're asking for approval to build a single family dwelling. Public hearing was open, no one spoke. It's an unlisted action under seeker, and that was approved by the board. Building inspector had no concerns, the board had no concerns. So, the application was approved. On the agenda was a special use permit for a single apartment in a single family dwelling by Laura Spalte, 2898 Roosevelt Highway. Laura Spalte was seeking a special use permit for this single apartment and single family to include 2 bedrooms. This is in the commercial general business district. She mentioned she has 2 16-year-old boys and she would like them to live on their own. So she's proposing to apply for a single apartment in a single family dwelling. And she's asking for it to be rezoned as a 2-family dwelling. There needs to be an entrance from the new addition into the main structure, and the utilities has to share the existing structure. She's also mentioned that she's looking for this to be a rental opportunity when her boys go out on their own, she can rent. There's a lot of variances that have to be met, so that was what the planning board did, they referred this application to the ZBA. Then that was the end of the agenda and public hearing. There was some discussion. Town councilman said there will be public hearings on chickens and camping trailers. Steve Boz mentioned that the sewer project along the lake is going well. Most of the pumps are in and they've been starting to test them. They mentioned the Farm Fest, which was just held this last weekend. And the History Center renovations are ongoing. There's still no news on the rewrite of the LWRP, which was completed quite some time ago, and we just haven't heard anything. And that was the meeting.
All right, thank you. Next I'm up with the Fish Advisory Board. First up, the Fishers of Men Bass Fishing Club will hold a fishing tournament on Irondequoit Bay from the 19th of September to the 23rd. They expect anywhere between 40 and 50 boats. The Visit Rochester folks are assisting them. They have not reached out to me for any assistance from the board yet, but we do know that they're looking for a place to hold their weigh-in and captain's meetings. And we suggested that they contact Seabreeze because they have that large parking lot just behind the hot dog stand there. And they can easily fit all their boats into that place and set up a tent to have their weigh-in. But that's all I've heard on that so far. The Atlantic Salmon program for Sandy Creek is nearing completion. The last details of the plan are being finalized. So within the next month or so, we should know what that looks like. As much as I want this to take off and be a great opportunity for the string fishermen and stuff, I still haven't caught me what Atlantic's out on the lake yet from it, but
Is this a fish stocking program?
Fish stocking program. They're stocking Atlantic salmon, approximately 40,000 every year into Sandy Creek in hopes that they have a natural reoccurring population of Atlantics. So they're hoping that they'll spawn. The fish came from Maine, but they're a warmer water species that tend to spawn in warmer waters. So Sandy Creek gets very warm at times, and the cohos and the Chinooks do not do very well in their spawning efforts. We do have naturally recurring brown trout and domestic rainbow trout populations in the creek that go up into the upper reaches of Sandy, and they fare fairly well if they can get out of the stream before it warms up. We also intend to continue to stock right around 14,000 steelhead trout, which is similar to domestic rainbow. So we have those fish to look forward to in the fall as well. But the only cohos and Chinook salmon we're gonna get are strays from Genesee River or from Olcott Beach, or Olcott where they are stopped. So, one can only hope. And that's basically it for that. Other than, New York State DEC received a NOAA pandemic relief grant for approximately $1 million. And this money is going to be used for, a media campaign lake-wide to put out, TV shows, magazine, articles, and the like, to try to get people to come up and fish Lake Ontario now again, that the pandemic's over with. People found other things to do during the pandemic, and so the rates of people coming back have not been what they were prior to the pandemic. We're always looking for people, and we need people on the board. Most of the people are very old and are retiring out of it. So that's that for that. And the cormorants, which has been a big problem and stuff, they haven't been around for a while, but they are coming back on their migratory path back to out of Canada, headed down south. So you'll start seeing more and more cormorants around, filling their bellies full are very expensive fish. Next up, EMC. EMC will kick off on March 20th, and I'll be attending that. If anybody else wants to go, it'll be on the 20th at the Echo Park, Building 1, very first building on the right-hand side as you come into Echo Park. There's a parking lot right there. So, but they've asked for a alternate to be on hand that can fill in for when I can't. So you can think about that. And
What are those meetings?
those meetings are on the third Wednesday of every month, and it's from 4 o'clock to 5:30. A lot of times we'll have it up at 111 West Fall Road. So, that's all I have for right now. And that brings us to Clark.
Okay, the town board meeting, regular town board meeting, August 14th, 2023. Prior to the board meeting, they had a hearing again on the local law number 7, I think it is, for keeping the chickens on property under 1 acre, not 100 acres. And also on local law number 9 that has to do with trailers and, different types of trailers. The little, first thing they voted on at the town, the board meeting was the negative declaration of the environmental significance on intergovernmental law to amend chapters, 520, zoning law, article 4, or 6, rather, regulations, 520-41, and that was passed. And then, they, discussed and, voted on the resolution for final order of introductory law number 7, which again has to do with the chickens that, not only, tells, decides whether people can have property, chickens on their, less than 1 acre of property, but how they, can qualify to have, the licensing, the, size of a coop they have to have, and all the regulations involved there, and, and the restrictions. And, that passed. Then we came to the, local law number 9, which has to do with, trailers, and defines trailers of mobile homes, travel trailers, motor homes, and such, and where they can be, where they can be used, or where they cannot be. And, again, they still need to have some more, tweaking of that, apparently, because they tabled that for the next month. And that's all I have. I couldn't hear what they were talking about in their reports and stuff,
Okay.
so.
That's fine. I just wonder if they're gonna make us put little license tags on each for our chicken, little collars.
Maybe they can tag their ears.
Chickens don't have ears.
I don't know, my chickens can hear pretty well.
Yeah, they can hear pretty well. Okay, that takes us to Lewis.
Alright, August 21st, zoning board of appeals, so public hearing to start on 39 Oak Road, Jason, is it Requa? Requa is what I heard. They wanted to put a detached carport in front of the main foundation line. So no one was present to speak, so that one passed without a problem. Then there were 2 coastal erosion hazard area permits for rock work for Barbara Quinn at 5800 West Woodlawn Beach and 57, and Mike Goblo at 5748 West Woodlawn Beach. Same thing, repairing and resetting the rock, and adding additional rock along the waterfront.
Right.
And they have a DEC permit already, so that one, those were granted as well. And then, Laura Stalti at 2898 Roosevelt Highway wants to, like, is the one that Jenny just mentioned. So it's a few variances, one to add an addition to the rear of the dwelling. So she needs a variance for the rear setback, it's going to be too close to the rear property line. And the lot depth isn't deep enough, she has a lot that's 132 feet where the code requires a 200-foot depth. And she said during that hearing that her sons are autistic, so she wanted them to have that experience of living on their own while she was still connected with them. So that was so they scheduled a public hearing for next month. And then Nathan Pacelli was back at the zoning board, 61 Hillcrest Drive, and he has an existing accessory structure in the rear yard that's bigger than the code allows. So they're just asking for a variance to bring that existing structure into compliance, and that has this public hearing scheduled for next month as well. That was that.
All right, thank you. How are the friends?
The friends are doing just fine. Busy even though we haven't had any meetings over the summer, they've been very busy just doing various projects and gatherings. But with the help of local families, the Friends reached their goal of raising $1,500 that was needed for their portion of a $30,000 grant that I think I mentioned last month or the month before that we received, that the Friends received, from Parks and Trails New York, to purchase moving mats that will enable greater accessibility to the beach for people who have difficulties. So the Friends needed to come up with a portion of that grant. And so they did, with the help of local families and so on, they did reach the goal of the $1,500 to match the grant. Hamlin Beach State Park has been nominated for inclusion in the Medina Sandstone Hall of Fame. So park manager Ross Lovell and Ed Evans, a member of the Friends, hosted visitors who came to observe the buildings and the stone walls and the fireplaces that were built by the young men of the CCC back in the 1930s. So they were nominated, so we'll just have to wait and see if we'll get into that. As I said, the Friends continue to just work on various cleanup and beautification projects around the park all summer. But we'll probably start having our regular meetings in September.
That's great. Okay, zoning workshop report.
We did not have one yet this month, it was canceled. The last week it's going to be tomorrow evening.
Okay. Can I have a motion to adjourn from the conservation board meeting?
I'll make a motion to adjourn conservation board meeting.
I'll second that.
All right, we'll move right into the Hamlin Waterfront Committee with the same members present.
It's not shown on the agenda sheet, but I did do 2 inspections,
Okay,
and both of those were actually mentioned by Lewis in his
right,
zoning report. 2 different people, 2 different families on West Potomac need to repair their break walls, and so I looked at those. It's actually quite amazing that these huge multi-ton rocks move and need to be reset, and
Right.
some of them tumble down, and so it's a necessary thing to have those repaired. So I looked at both of those, and they were consistent with the elderly.
great.
One was at 5,800 West Potomac Beach Road, and the other was 57.
Yeah, everybody likes to underestimate the power of water.
And especially the ice when it gets.
Yeah. Jerry DeLuca up in, his portion of his breaker wall was made out of, caged riprap, which is the gabions and stuff. And during the storm, they were all turned to sand.
They get shifted around and broken apart.
Yeah, and it was a mess for him. I mean, it cost a lot of money to have him come back in, put rock and everybody. So don't underestimate the power of the lake. The lady, when she gets mad, gets mad.
Yes.
I don't know if I should have done this before we got out of the committee, but Cheryl, is the possibility of putting an ad in the paper for new members?
I will talk to Steve Boz about that.
Okay,
And then,
hearing that Clark's going to leave us
yes,
and
I'll
stuff.
talk to Steve.
Okay, we don't have to vote on that or anything like that.
No.
Okay. All right, can I have a motion?
Well, I have
Okay.
something to bring up for discussion, and this is,
Okay,
it was about this time, it's either the August meeting or the September meeting, we talked about ordering going to full good-sized trees to
Yeah.
plant And I believe we have money in our budget because, first of all, we didn't spend any money on the seedlings because that fell through this year. So we check and see how much money we have. If everybody's in agreement, if we can, purchase some more trees, we'll talk to the highway department because they planted them
Right.
last year. So just to get the ball rolling on that, I think we ended up doing it in October, actually.
Yeah, well, that's when they had their 50% sale.
Yeah.
And we hit that 50% sale, and then we got a discount for who we are,
Yeah.
and, so,
We made out pretty well last year.
yeah, we did. We got some nice trees.
Where did you
Sarah.
Sarah's,
get
So, just to get that, just to think about, we'll find out how much money we have, and as I said, talk to highway department. I think that they're always willing to put in more trees
Oh, yeah.
because of all the ash trees that had to come down.
yeah,
So, maybe we can talk a little bit more finally about it next month, but I just wanted to throw that out.
okay. You don't know of any places, Cheryl, that need to be for reforestation projects or anything like that?
No, nothing's coming to my attention.
Okay,
Mhm.
because there's grants available for that.
Mhm.
The DEC bulletin, there was another grant. I forget off the top of my head what it was, but, it was, you get up to like $50,000 for different projects, reforestation, and of course, immediately thought of Sandy Creek, and, getting trees planted back on the bank, and getting farmers to back the fields up, they're supposed to be, and
They should be 100 feet from them, but that loses a lot of farm.
Yeah.
For them.
yeah,
Even 50 feet would be.
yeah.
would be nice.
One of the reasons Sandy Creek is so warm is because it's been deforested, and there's not the canopy to cover the water to shade it. And, number two, a lot of the springs that fed the creek, came from some of the farmers' fields, and they,
Drainage.
put out their drainage stuff, and so they redirected the water, so the water coming out of the fields isn't cold anymore, it's warm. So, yeah. But there's little pockets, up towards, Holly. And I've seen, cohos up there spawn successfully and stuff. It's just babies can't make it down to the lake before they're either eaten or burn up. So,
Cheryl, you had sent out, you notice that there's like a Zoom meeting on the state of the lakes.
I did send that out to everybody.
Is that, and I've listened to that in the past, I think it's actually this Wednesday, I believe, the English version of it. Is that something that, for like an hour, that you get an hour credit for, do you have any idea?
That I do not know.
Have
I
to be
could
pre-approved,
ask.
it have to be
That was
pre-approved.
Simon Snow, is that his name? I think he's maybe the English, I don't think he's from the United States. But I do know what you're talking about. I'm not going to listen to it. I'm taking another class.
I you sent
Stormwater.
something out, and then I also saw it in the newspaper, so it's
Yeah.
probably out there.
Okay,
And I was just wondering,
I will ask.
because it's kind of, it's the state of the lake, state of the Great Lakes, so it's not
State of the
just.
Great Lakes, yeah.
Because when I listened before, they talk about all the Great Lakes.
Yeah.
And then downstream.
Yeah.
And,
it would be a good opportunity to get a credit.
to get a credit, I think it runs about an hour.
When was that email?
When was it? It was within the last week. I can also look up, as I said, I think it was in the newspaper this week. And I thought it was interesting, it's, they do two versions, one in English and one in French, because it's, new
I think I also sent everybody an email today, a group email, everybody on the board, from the town board, about the battery
I heard you, I
charging
didn't
stations are
check.
starting to catch fire.
I saw that, but I didn't read it.
Yeah, I read a little bit of it, scanned it, and Steve gave it to me. I said, I'm gonna send this to everybody. It's very important. I mean, that one, I think they said that the one fire was maybe 5 to 6 days before anybody really noticed it. I think that's what it said. And that's pretty dangerous for battery storage.
You know, you wonder, as far as, batteries of the electric cars, who's gonna haul these cars after they've had 2 ships going up already
Yeah.
because of carrying those cars.
Yeah,
My son has.
Why would anybody wanna haul them?
No, my son has an EV. He's got a Polestar out of California, and they had like a hurricane last week, it was really bad, and now his charger doesn't work on the house. Can't take all the water that we had. We had a ton of water that we had. So I said,
So you
well,
can't drive the car.
nope. And it's, they got a driveway where they got a Cooper, but that's up by the garage, and there's no room, they can't get the Cooper out because it's Polestar anymore. So,
There's issues to be, worked, issues to be.
There's no like way to use a generator or anything, like in the house.
just have to, I think, I don't know too much about it, but I think you have to use this as a special,
Yeah.
attached to your house.
Yeah.
Special charging unit that can charge your car, plug it in every.
yeah, but it takes 4 hours.
It's really quite ugly too.
You can only drive 300 miles.
It's an ugly car, is that what you're saying?
No, it's ugly, that unit is ugly.
Oh, I was.
It's like a gas pump on the side of your house.
Yeah.
We thought
That's
about
why, that's something that's talking
And
about,
it's, and I
is
we have a
whether
little
they're gonna have
climate.
Right.
charging
Yeah, that's-
stations. We don't have to take your car out, leave it for 4 hours?
Yeah.
It's not convenient.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I wondered if we should make a motion to adjourn, we basically just chatted.
okay. I have,
I will make a motion to adjourn.
okay. Cheryl, oh, please.
But I mean,
Yes.
Diddy Clark,
Yes.
Steve
Yes.
Harper, Carrie Whipple.
Yes.
Okay, meeting is adjourned, so carried. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Have a safe
Do you want
month.
me to look that up and